Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 10 Reasons to Join the FME Community webinar. We're really excited to talk to everyone today. I'm going to start with a little bit of introductions. So we'll start with some introductions from everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Pont. I'm the support manager here at Safe Software. My team is really focused on customer success and ensuring that everyone using FME has the tools that they need to use it successfully. And the community is a huge part of that, and it's only going to grow in how much it can help everybody. And so we're really excited to share a lot more about it today. I'll pass it over to Chris.
Yeah, so I'm Chris. I'm kind of on that customer success team. I'm on the desktop technology expert side. So I kind of focus on helping users get all the resources that they do need, be it on the community or through cases. So yeah, that's kind of what we do. Pass it over to Mark now.
I'm Mark Island. I'm what we call the FME evangelist. I work on Brian's team as well. And I pretty much tell you all of the fantastic things that are going on with FME and listen to your concerns and interests as well and pass them back on to our support and development teams. So I'm there for the two-way communication and do a lot of work in the community.
Fantastic. And as well with us today, on the Q&A, so if you have any questions, we highly recommend that you jump in there and ask them today. We have Nampreet Singh. Nampreet, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm on the desktop experts team on the broader customer success team as well. And our team loves hearing about new use cases that our current customers are working on, new challenges, and also helping out new users with resources to help them succeed with their data challenges.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So again, any questions, fire them in. We're excited to chat about everything today. So a brief agenda before we get started. We want this webinar to help everybody turn into FME heroes. We think the community can do that. And while we're jumping in here, I want to give a tiny bit of background on the community as it stands. So our community was built really to help customers ask technical questions and get technical answers. That's where it grew from. Kind of like if you've used Stack Exchange before, similar idea there. And we recognize that that is an amazing tool and very, very helpful. But one part of that that's interesting is we really want to expand the reach of what the community can do. And so we'll talk a little bit today about the future, where the community is going, and some of the new exciting things that are going to come up that are going to just expand the scope of what the community is that you're all used to, or you may be tuning in today to get acquainted with. So that's really exciting. We also have done a user survey this year. And when we did that, we recognized that a lot of users were not necessarily familiar with all of the joy that the community can bring to your FME life. And so we want to share all the different avenues of that community for everyone today. And the last fact I'll point out is that we do really want the community to be a welcoming space for all the new users that exist in FME. And sometimes you can jump in there and it's really, really technical. So when we move to a new community this year, we're hoping to allow a lot more of that friendly discussion to happen at a much higher level sometimes and just make that a great place for new users. So all that, a little bit of preamble to what we're going to talk about. We're going to break this up into three main sections. And the first is looking at how the community can help you day to day, working with FME, looking for your help when you're stuck. The second, Mark's going to talk about this, is the schmoozing side of FME community. So connecting with users, talking about your FME lives together. That's a really good spot for the community too. And finally, we're going to talk about where the community can help you grow, and as well where the community is growing itself. And I'll leave you with a final teaser here in our agenda. We have a really great analogy that we're going to sum this all up with. But like those three dots there, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out what that is. We'll leave that little seed, a little nugget there in everyone's mind until we get there. But at this point, I'm going to throw it over to Mark. And Mark, do you want to talk about our mission a little bit?
Yeah, so the Safe Software, our mission is to help organizations maximize the value of their data. But I think our team, the tech experts, if you want to condense our work into a few words, it's this. If you want to press the button now, it's to turn FME users into FME heroes, or even FME superheroes. If you want to click the button again, we believe the knowledge base and the community has the content that you need to turn you into an FME hero or superhero. And we say it's like getting superpowers, like being bitten from a radioactive creature like the radioactive FME lizard. If you get bitten by him, then you're infected with all of these wonderful knowledge about FME, and we really do believe that the community has the content to do that. And as Brian said, we're moving on now. We're moving to a new system, a new setup sometime this year, which we hope will give us a lot more functionality in terms of what we can do with the community. So, and that's the URL for now, knowledge.safe.com. So don't forget that. Very important that you're aware of that URL, obviously.
Perfect.
Okay, back to you, Brian.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Mark. So at this point, we're going to talk about using the community to get support and get help.
Yeah.
And Chris is going to lead us through that.
Kicking us off with working. So yeah, every day we can be faced with challenges that we need to overcome, and sometimes you can simply just ask a colleague for help. But what happens if they're not around or they're too busy? The last thing that you want is to be left in the dark trying to tackle a problem alone. So fortunately, with the FME community, you don't really have to, because you have the power to create new posts and ask the community for help or tips that help you get moving on to the next step in your project. This particular iteration of the FME community has actually been around for a few years since October 2012. And over time, it's really developed a network of FME users that actively support each other. There's over 16,000 posts on the forum alone, so there's a ton of great content out there that'll help you find answers to answers for the questions that you might have. Personally, I use the forum on a daily basis to even really just learn more from other users or to provide support as well. So this is just a first quick look at what the community might look like for you. If you were to search a problem, say an error message, you could be met with a couple of responses and then say, well, maybe those aren't really applicable to me. So you can post a new question by hitting that new question button. We do find that it is often helpful if you give as much information on here as possible. And what you notice just above there as well is that as you type in the subject of the question, it gives you a little preview of some suggestions of relevant posts as well. We do really want to encourage that people do post questions on the forum, so never hesitate to ask a question, because it will be very visible to safe experts here, partners around the world, and other topic experts that are kind of in the community.
In many ways, we treat this as part of our support team.
Yeah,
part
exactly.
of the way we interact and answer questions. We do it live on the community all the time.
Yeah, we do treat the forums as our first line of support, because we do find it really beneficial to answer one question to a broader audience rather than answering one question to one user at a time. Right? So there's a main advantage to that as well, because the first person who does find the problem, they'll obviously get the answer right away, but the next person who comes along and the person after that, they'll have the answer immediately. So it's just really beneficial that we can post it on that public forum.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the first reason that really the community is great is you can get advice. You can ask anything that's FME related. It doesn't even have to be FME related, but it can be stuff with Python that you're doing in the FME. And it's really great because as I mentioned, there's over 16,000 forum posts. So everything here is archived, and you're able to search back and look back on those records, see if there's anything relevant, and kind of browse through the existing answers that have already been posted by some of our experts. Say there's a situation where there is nothing relevant though, you can go ahead and post a new question and help you get unstuck. So that was just from that last video showing how to fill in the details and kind of a quick preview of the different spaces and topics that you can post to. So we do have spaces for each one of our products. So the FME Desktop has a space, FME Server and FME Cloud all have spaces that you can post specifically in. In addition to that, we also have topics that can help narrow down the focus of the question. So say you're tackling a CAD problem and you are working in FME Desktop, you can post your question to the FME Desktop space with the CAD topic, and that'll be tagged so that all the topic experts that are following the CAD topic are going to be notified and will hopefully be able to help you out with that question. The last thing that is beneficial with the posting a question is that you can actually ask experts. So one cool thing with the community is that since there are those topics and spaces that can follow, you'll also find that there are topic experts. Those can be here at SAFE or users in the community as well. And that's based on, I believe, on your reputation score that helps you kind of climb that leaderboard and get you recognized as an expert in that field. So we'll move on to the second reason why the community is so great. And that is that you can gain a lot of expertise here because you can ask, you can answer, and you can vote on ideas as well. So it is pretty awesome that you can get new tips and tricks from users all over the world because everyone learns differently and everyone has different ways of using FME. I think there's probably 5 or 6 different ways of doing the same task for a lot of things in FME. So it's a great way to learn how other people use it and how their ideas might help you in future workflows. And that'll help you get answers to your questions. Like I mentioned, you are going to get answers from SAFE experts, partners, topic experts, and other users like yourself all around the world. So you're not going to be met with someone talking at a super high level if you're not at that level. You can kind of find your different audiences and make sure that you do understand the question or understand the answer before moving on in your project.
You'd be amazed too at the speed sometimes that answers can
come
in. We have a partner of ours in Japan, Takashi, who's all over the community because he is such a great FME expert, and I'm often really blown away by his answers. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
We actually think maybe he's cloned. Maybe there's a few Takashis.
There's 4 of them.
But no, he is incredible and great to see when he's on there. You can really trust his answers.
Yeah. And even just another thing to mention too is different languages. We do have people commonly posting in French. They might not have the best English skills, so they'll post the question in French and the translated version in English. So if you are working in a different language, feel free to post it in your native language, and we can always translate it using Google Translate and repost it with an English version as well. So along with the expertise section is that you can also stay informed by following topics and get email notifications for the topics that you're following. You obviously don't want to get emails every time a post has been, every time a question has been posted, so you can set the notifications to come in every day or every week, or if you're not interested in getting notified at all, you can turn off notifications in general. So one of the third reasons, there's also no particular order for these as well, is the breadth of learning, free learning resources that are available on the FME community. Say you are new to FME and you don't have time to take the full training course. This is a pretty common situation, but you need help getting started with, say, FME Desktop or FME Server. We do have resources on there. They're great tutorials that I think they take only about half an hour each. Yep. So they're a lot more condensed. You're not going to get as much information, obviously, but these are really the basics that you need to kind of have a solid foundation to get started with FME. If you're a little bit more experienced with FME and you're looking for new formats or new transformers or features, we also have a lot of tutorials for those as well. Most notably, we have getting started with format-specific topics. So all the databases, the main databases like Oracle, PostGIS, and SQL Server, transformers, stuff like the workspace runner, how to make a dynamic workspace. All these new features, we do commonly post articles to help users really get a better idea of how these things work and how they're intended to work. You also get to stay informed with the best practices and recommended transformers for any of the new features that are updated, if there's any major changes in the parameters or if there's just a better transformer in general. For example, the feature merger and feature joiner. That's a great one. We have articles for both of those. And the last thing is we also post known issues as we are informed of them. So it's a great way to stay informed of Any issues that may have been notified or noticed from our users or internally, we will post those just so users are aware of them. There's usually not that many. I think it's only a couple each major version, but it's just things we want you guys to be aware of. And just a quick overview, we'll run this little slide or video quickly. Doesn't look like it's playing. There we go. So yeah, there's so much more to the FME community than just the forums and the tutorials. Obviously, you have access to both of those. You have access to the ideas exchange, where you can share your own ideas of where you think the product should be going. Go to check out the FME Hub, find some training, listen to a webinar like this one. You can even get support or look through documentation. It's all really there. There's so much good content in here that you can really just go up to the top and hit that search bar, and it's going to search through the entire community and look for answers for your question. In this case, let's take a look at a tutorial for getting started with FME Desktop. You can see that I think there's over, 27,000 results. So to help you with that, you can obviously filter it down using the search filter on the left side, and then scroll down to the tutorial that you're looking for. Once you open that up, you're going to notice that these tutorials are broken into many different sections, and a lot of them actually come with sample downloads for data sets as well as sample workspaces. And most of them even have step-by-step instructions and videos that show you how to get it done. So that's a great way to learn some stuff about FME and get some new tasks going. So
perfect.
That's fantastic. Yeah, this is Mark back again. We should perhaps mention that because we are moving to a new system, some of these things are going to change over the coming months. So any sort of input you have on what works for you on the current community and what doesn't, that's going to give us a great heads up to look at the new functionality that's coming along shortly. So I'll just say that. But I'm going to talk about schmoozing, and I don't think that's really a word that's got a good translation for any other language. Maybe it's even a particularly English term, I don't know. But it just means to chat, to talk, to interact with people, and that's really what this next section is all about. Because we can supply you with the expertise and the knowledge-based articles and things like that. But for some aspects of the community, we're sort of merely the facilitators. We're providing tools that let you as the users become a community together. So let's have a look at that. You just want to start clicking buttons when I'm talking, that's fine. If we get a little out of sync, it's not a problem. But that's about as far. Okay, you can stop there. So yeah, so networking, that can be really useful because you can find contacts within the same industry, within the same field, sometimes even within the same country. As Brian mentioned, we get people talking in French, other languages as well. And hopefully in the future, with this new setup we're getting, we'll be able to separate these discussion boards out into different industries and maybe different languages. All the things we're hoping to be able to do, because right now we've just got one big discussion board where everything goes onto, whether it's technical or just chatting or whatever. So hopefully we're going to split that out a little bit. Yeah, and networking means exposure, and exposure means you become recognized. I know a number of people now as FME experts, and I'd unhesitantly say these are genuine FME heroes. But all I've done is meet them on a community. So you get this nice fuzzy feeling, but you also get I also think it's a benefit to your reputation, to your career, to your business maybe, if you're recognized in the community as an expert, because you get personal recommendations for other people on the community as well. And as the community grows, which it's really starting to take off now, then you have the opportunity to grow with it. And with the new system going into place, it's going to be a bit of a new start almost. So it'd be good to get in on the ground floor now, as it were. Okay, so rewards. Well, okay, I'm going to say the word gamification because that's sort of what this is. Like I think Brian said earlier, we're not going to let it get in the way of the important aspects of knowledge transfer, because that's really the key to what this site is about. But we do feel that users who contribute to the community, well, they should be rewarded in some way. So often Sometimes these are virtual rewards like reputation points and badges, and we'll have missions and different levels in the future. But also hope in the future we'll have badges for activity sort of away from the website, like being awarded a badge for attending this webinar, for attending the World Tour, for attending the user conference, different sorts of things like that. So we're trying to just provide unique rewards, if you like, for the community. Like if you click the button now, there's a list of the badges or some of the badges that we have now, like Talk Like a Pirate badge. If you ask a question on Talk Like a Pirate Day, you get a special badge because, hey, why not? And a special badge for posting or answering a question on May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day, so you get the Skywalker badge. So these just little fun badges that we try and liven things up a bit with. But we also plan to have physical rewards as well. We're planning to ramp up those. They won't be the same as any other FME related swag. They are going to be exclusive to the community. Like the ones you can see on the screen right now, they were made for a community hackathon, which we gave away. And as far as I know, nobody else anywhere could get those that swag. So we're planning to increase the amount that we have. In fact, Brian and I were working on this new future top secret collectibles project, which is going to be a physical reward you can get. Do you think we should give them a sneak peek, Brian?
I think we could, you know.
Yeah, I think so. So make it quick though. Okay, so we've got this top secret project underway for a collectibles as a reward for just doing things on the community. Okay, I'd say that's enough. They've seen enough now.
Let's hide it.
Thank you, Brian. So we're really excited about that and just ramping up the rewards in future, both virtual and physical rewards.
Yeah, we made a session at a future user conference where there's a big swap competition going on with all the cards.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be fun, that one.
Yeah, so we're excited.
Yes, and speaking of fun, the next slide. Okay, I know work isn't meant to be all fun and games, but the fact is we want you to learn through this site. And like the saying goes, you can't learn while you're asleep. So that's why we try and make this a fun and welcoming environment. Consultant just asked me the other day how many posts we removed for being abusive. And to be honest, I can't remember any in the last 10 years or so. Like, it's not like one a week or anything. I just can't remember any time that any FME users on our site were rude to each other or rude to a new user or anything like that. So our experts are very open to helping everyone and anyone. And there's no such thing as a stupid question at all. And we're hoping to have a bit more FME, non-FME interaction as well in the future. I hope we'll have like a separate discussion board for chatting, like non-FME stuff, like moaning about the weather, discussing Star Wars, because sometimes you just get really annoyed with something in life and you want to tell people about it, because I work at my home office, and so I say I want to complain about the weather. Who am I going to complain to? Well, we'll just have a little channel in here maybe for things like that. So maybe arranging local FME group meetups and that sort of thing. The other thing we do are games and quizzes. I know, again, that seems frivolous, but the point there is to learn as you have fun. And in fact, if you've been taking the weekly FME quiz and didn't realize you were learning at the same time, well, got you. Because that's really what I'm trying to make the quiz about. Do you want to click on that link, Brian, and we'll go and have a look?
Sure.
At the quiz. Do you think we've got time to take the quiz right now? I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, we can try.
Well, I made all of the questions in the quiz a poll. So the first question, you could, for the community username, you could put in just like FME Community or webinar or something.
Okay, let's do webinar.
And if people want to do this on their own account, please do. Let me see if I can launch a poll. There we go. So very quickly, What do you think the F11 shortcut in Workbench, what does it do? This is the first question this week. And I'll just give that like 10 or 15 seconds and then we'll close it.
Okay.
So everyone was saying, how do we show the results?
I got it.
Okay, well, I can see the results. There we go, enter full screen mode. So, okay, perfect. So 100% people said that. So you can enter that in the quiz question.
Okay, very good.
Next question. Which one of these is a real airport named after a real FME user conference keynote speaker? So one of these people came to our conference and gave the keynote speech, and then they had an airport named after them. Probably not because they gave a speech at our thing. They probably got it for other reasons, but
you never know.
well, that's true. Okay, so what's the result? Okay, ooh, we got a tie. I don't know what answer we put down for a tie.
Ooh.
We'll have to pick something.
I think we go with Chris Hadfield.
Okay, I think you might be right there.
Okay.
I don't think Jack has either an airport or and he's not been a speaker either. So, okay, if you want to use FME Desktop, you're on a flight, there's no internet connection. What can you do to license that FME? You get the choice of these different options. This is a great way to test the wisdom of the crowds, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll quickly close that one.
Borrow a license comes out on top.
Borrow a license. I think that one might be right as well.
Okay, we will find out.
Okay, here we go. Previous FME World Tour themes have included cooking and space exploration and Indiana Jones and all sorts of things. So what's this year's theme? And somebody mentioned that Jack Dangermont's building a railway station. I don't know if that's true, but that will be very interesting if it is. Okay, let's close that one off.
All right.
There we go. The FME Data Spa. I quite like the rock stars and secret agents as well, but
I think we've done magic before, Mark.
have we? Okay.
I believe so.
Oh, I remember trying to do a magic trick in a World Tour event. Okay, this is the tough question. We've got an FME AR app. Which of these choices wasn't a new capability added to it? And this is going to be a tough one, I think. We like to put in a couple of tough questions just to, well, again, it's just because it's a learning experience and you need to, or you want to be able to learn.
While having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll close that off. And the answer there, well, we've got a tie between the scale button and the move model here button. So I'll let you pick something at random out of one of those two.
Which one do you want, Chris? I picked the last one.
Let's go with the 1-to-1. Oh, wait, it is not? Wasn't a new. Okay, we'll go with the move to here, I guess.
Okay. We'll do the last question. The last question is always the impossible question. Because if we don't do this, then the same person tends to win every week. And so I quite like to throw in something that's quite impossible that you would never be able to know, just because it gives everyone a fair chance of answering a question right. So there we go. Let's close that one off. So my colleague Phil Vera, what do you think he's most well known for? His lavish mustache. There we go. Let's see. We'll put that in there. I don't think we should. Okay, click OK. So you're going up against one of our technical experts called Andrea. So she took the quiz and got 5 out of 6. Oh, we only got 4.
We got some 6 out of 6s though. Look at that.
There's quite a few. So 4 people beat her, and a lot of people tied, and some people didn't win. So, but there you go. Hopefully that was a bit of fun. You got to learn some things, and I'm not going to tell the right answers because you can fill them all in and get 6 out of 6, and it wouldn't be fair. But this is the sort of thing when we talk about the rewards and the little things like that, we can reward people for doing stuff like this. So yeah, hope that was a bit of fun. Let's move on now and back to you, Chris. Not Chris, Brian.
Yep, over to Brian now.
Great.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about now is a little bit of how the FME community can help you grow, and also a little bit about where the FME community is growing to. And I noticed a good question in the question panel about what platform we're going to move to for the new community. And that will be a Salesforce platform, which is actually a platform we used a number of years ago. So we're really excited about that. There's tons of good features within that tool, and I think a lot that we're going to be able to leverage. And I'll mention a few as we go here. The first point here that I'm going to talk about is accessibility. And that's the idea that the community is just completely open and completely free. And anyone can get value from it. You can be a home use license user, you can be on a student grant, you could be a full FME professional user. Everyone can come and everyone can utilize it. We don't have any blockers in place at all. One caveat to that is that there is no need for you to even sign up to see and search and find content that can help you. Of course, there are tons of great reasons to sign up that we've discussed today. And one of those that I'm going to highlight quickly is something coming up in the future, which is the ability to see your cases and chats that you have with us, all in one place, be able to use the community to communicate with us directly. It's going to be a big game changer, I think, for everyone who's interacted with our support team, because in previous years, you wouldn't be able to have that level of insight into all the different questions that you may have asked in the past and what the status of those are. So we're really, really excited about that. We think that will enable our users just have a better view of where they're at. So again, to sign in, you would need to be able to sign in to see that stuff. But of course, you don't have to, just if you're searching and looking for help, as Chris mentioned today.
I think we perhaps mentioned, Brian, sorry to butt in, but it is just a single sign-on now, I think, so, or it will be at least. So whatever you sign on to the community with, I think that should be the same sign-on that you sign in anywhere on the safe websites and everything.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. And that will make interacting with us really easy. So even if you're in FME Cloud, the hope is that that's the same account as everywhere else that you talk to us. Yeah, again, super exciting. Mark, you touched upon this a little bit, but we want to open up the discussions to more different topics and different sections. And so part of this, I'm going to mention just a few places that we want to add. So we want to add discussions for new users in particular, so that you can ask those very high-level questions or questions about a potential project where FME may be able to help. At SAFE, we get tons of conversations happening in email and in our live chat tool that, if that chat happened on the community, it would be so valuable for everybody else. So we really want to make that a nice place to visit to ask questions. We also want to add discussion forums related to the events that we have or the events that you have out in your community relating to FME. And we also want to make more space for user stories. So just sharing your specific wins or your small wins with FME. Every win is a win. We want to hear about them, and the community wants to hear about them and discuss it with you. Mark mentioned we may be looking at groups based on industry and region. I've had a lot of success on other forums where you end up in your particular region's group and you make really close ties that way in the local community. So we're excited about that. Now, one thing to point out, and Chris, you mentioned this briefly, but I want to jump into it, is the idea of an ideas forum. This is a space, I'll jump out of our presentation here and just go into the forum itself. Here is where you can directly let us know what you want to see inside FME. So there is the ability to vote, there's the ability to comment, and I'm just going to pop in and just look at what the top vote getting requests have been in the past. So all of our product teams are listening here, reviewing this. Our team on experts reviews this as well. And it's just been a really awesome place to get ideas. I'll pop in one so you can see we have suggested. These are ones we haven't done yet, and lots that we actually have done, all in the orange color, I think that is.
Yeah.
What I really love about this one is it was asked to have a dark mode, night mode, which for me made a big change. I use this day to day. I love it. But what's cool, as I noticed in here while reviewing this, is there was ideas for this idea before we even made it possible in FME. So Sam at Safe used an app to do this, and then Mark, you came in and said, hey, it's there now, go test it out.
Yep.
So absolutely come in here, play, have some discussion around these ideas, and we see it as a spot that can help FME grow, for sure.
I tend to do that when there's something new comes out. I say, go and try the beta. It's got this and it's fantastic. So
yeah, well, we really want that feedback too. So it's beautiful. The last spot I'll talk about is teamwork. And for me, I wrote this little quote down that sometimes it takes a village. I kind of think that's true of FME workspaces. I feel like they're my little children sometimes, and I want to work on them and make them perfect. But I can never do that without the help of my team here and the actual community of FMEers. And so it's been a wonderful spot for me to get help, but as well, we see it as a wonderful spot for everyone else to get ideas and to share. And in particular, one spot to highlight that we haven't talked too much about today is the FME Hub. And the FME Hub is a spot, again, I'll just jump out and we can look at it quickly, where you can share your workspaces, your custom transformers that you might happen to build, your web connections. I think web connections are a brilliant thing to put into the FME Hub because they can be tricky to set up. And this whole platform is tied right into FME. And so sometimes you don't even realize you're using the FME Hub when you download a custom transformer, but it's all coming from user-generated or safe software-generated content. And so one thing to note here, I'm just gonna look at what's recently been added. So we've added some natural language processing tools, Cesium, a Yelp connector, very good important one there. So lots happening. For example, if I were to just look at CityWorks, which is a great platform, you can see that we've added some web connections for CityWorks and some custom transformers. So it's a brilliant, this taps right into FME, and you yourself as an FME user can contribute all of this content to the hub. And so we're seeing that this is a way to really extend the power of FME for all the different use cases that you do. And so you'll see content from Safe, but you'll also see content from the community, and we really encourage that community content because we're not always aware of all the up and coming things that you're using. And so if you are using it, it's great to share that with everybody else.
And any web service got an API, you can create a connection and put it into onto the hub and share it. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So Mark, I'm going to throw it back to you. This is the slide I teased at the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to take us away on this one?
Sure. So we have, if you click it once, so we have expertise, learning, fun, networking, discussions, teamwork. So what does that sound like to you? Well, to us in the tech experts team, it sounds like basically a user conference that goes on 24/7. So that's actually what we're aiming for. We're aiming for that idea that this site should be interactive, informative, accessible, fun. Anything that you go to a conference and could do, we want this website to be like that. So you can talk to people, learn from other people, see user presentations, learn from us. We can learn from you as well. We, in the tech support team, we quite often look at some of the answers when we're trying to answer another question, because that question's already been answered by someone, maybe not even us. So we do look at that, your contributions are useful for us. We hope ours are useful for you. But yeah, that's what we're going for, a user conference sort of vibe where we're doing things like a conference. We're teaching you, we're learning from you, we're interacting, we're talking, we're chatting, and having fun. Yeah. So if you click
you're able to get support for your sticky issues in FME at the same time.
That's right, yeah. Because if and when you do come to the user conference in Vancouver, we do have a huge doctor's office there with all of our tech support people there answering questions. We have a lot of users giving presentations. So all of those things, I can see parallels for them on this community website. And that's really what we're trying to do, because a user conference really is the most powerful way to me to turn our users into heroes.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you click once more, be sure to give us your feedback. community@safe.com is a great email to do that. If you have any ideas, suggestions, thoughts, questions, anything to do with the community, we're definitely listening. We might not get to something straight away, but we'll definitely take your feedback on board. And again, like I said, a lot of this is us facilitating things for you to make use of. So yeah, I hope you do.
Feedback's very, very important.
Absolutely.
Let's wrap things up here, Mark. I'm going to pop the last slide up, and we can talk about some upcoming events.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So the FME World Tour is coming very, very soon. So you can see all the different cities that we're visiting at FMEWT.com. We're excited to go out. I think, Mark, probably all of us are going to be at different events over the April to June timeframe. And importantly, in your cities, there are still speaking slots available. That means that you can come up and share your use case, your win with FME. It doesn't have to be a big, elaborate workflow. It can be very, very simple, which often are some of the best talks that I've seen. So definitely don't hesitate to jump on that and let us know if you're interested in speaking at any of the cities. Lots and lots of spots. Same thing for the UC. So our UC is in June. And again, lots of speaking slots available. We really do want to hear your stories, and see that website to register and sign up.
Yeah, those are fantastic events, and the user conference especially is just incredible. So I can totally recommend that.
Yeah, you can see this was one of our UCs, I think the last one possibly there, and just a mass of people all having snacks and celebrating FME.
Yep.
Lots of fun.
And we had Chris Hatfield as the keynote speaker. He didn't bring his guitar and sing to us. He's the astronaut who sang from the space station, but he didn't sing for us. But he did tell us what it's like to be in a spaceship and a rocket taking off from Earth.
Yeah, so, and he was able to really relate that down to data challenges, and it was really wonderful.
Incredible guy, yeah.
Absolutely. Great. So we want to say a big thank you to everybody who's joined us today. It's been a really good morning to share and chat about the community. We really want everybody to jump in there, sign up today if you haven't signed up already, and just keep it in mind, either when you're looking for answers in FME or you want to reach out to other users, or if you want to expand your skills, the community is absolutely the first place to go. Any final thoughts, Mark or Chris?
Did we want to go through any questions that were in the questions list? Was there anything good, Nampreet, that we perhaps should mention?
Just a couple of ideas being thrown out there. Yeah, just somebody suggested that we might want to share some Python snippets in FME Hub. Not sure if FME Hub would be the location for that. There's potential there, but the FME community is a great way to start, and especially in our new format that we're thinking of, we might create a space for that.
Absolutely.
Well, I believe that's on the agenda because that is what packages are on the hub right now, but they're safe only right now. But I think we were planning to expand that to users as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
So yes, you could package up a workspace with Python code included and publish it as a package on the hub. But that's in the future. But
yeah, I don't think it's too far off, which is great.
Excellent. There were some ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I saw there were some ideas for swag. So someone was saying, let's see, scarves and socks are always good to give out as giveaways. So that's something for us to be aware of.
We've done socks before. I use mine quite a bit. Do you have a pair of FME socks, Mark?
I do, but I think they made them a little bit too small. I think FMEers all have big feet, and I know they didn't fit a lot of us. So, but I think yes, it even got its own Twitter account at one point, which was a bit sad. But whatever.
We had some questions about improving some of our search capabilities in the community, so we can definitely look at that and see where there's some gaps, and we're more than happy to hear some suggestions or challenges you're having with finding what you need on the community.
Yeah, that'll be definitely part of our revamp, is to look at the search and how it can work better for everybody. And we noted definitely that the search by user isn't possible with the current platform, but I don't believe that would be an issue going forward into the new model.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that gives us, but I don't know about you, I'm not totally fully up on what the new community will give us in terms of search, but I'm hoping it will be at least as good, if not better, than what we have. So, excuse me.
Any other questions there, Nampreet, that look interesting that we should cover?
I think there's a question about how to categorize some of our information. So I'm not sure if this is applicable to the community itself, but so it's something to think about in general for our website and our community, how we can better categorize. This question was our transformers by software or platform type, I guess, that they're trying to get to here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can look into that.
Right.
I think there might be a bit of that functionality on the transformer gallery.
Yep.
Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, because you can filter. Doesn't look like you can filter by software type, but you can filter by different categories like integrations, strings, data quality. If you want to do some 3D stuff, you can filter by those. So that's kind of, I guess, one of the best ways.
Yeah, we want to throw that link in the chat.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And just relating it back to the community, there's a cool link on the, I think it's the tutorials link on the FME Community Home, where we try to categorize a lot of our tutorials and articles by format or broad categories like GIS, databases. So this is a great way to just get started. Obviously, this isn't extensive, but it's a good collection to get started.
Yeah, I love that. I love that page, and it's not very obvious from the front page of the community where to get to this. So
we're thinking a topic in the future that takes you right to this type of content in the community would be very helpful for everybody. Yeah, I often find starting on something new, I would come here and take a little quick tutorial to get myself refreshed on that. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure sharing all our knowledge of the community with everybody.
And thank you guys for all contributing as well and joining the webinar.
Absolutely.
And for joining in the community, and everything you post to the community is just fantastic. And that's why we want to do more rewards, because we want to recognize the work you do. So.
Our success comes from our users.
Yes, absolutely. So.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. I'll say goodbye.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.